In my experience, that's a recurring question that we ask potential customers. What's like the hardest challenge you face? I'd be curious like where that came from. Is that like a YC question that they pushed onto you
Nah,
guys or something that you uncovered on your own?
it's always something about like doing like very hard and like challenging tasks. Has always been, at least for me, it was like super curious. Like getting into YC and getting into like a PhD program in a top university always have been like a curious curiosity of more of like what's the hardest thing you can do. For Isha, I think it's more of like if you solve the hardest problem, it automatically pushes your product into a great direction.
It was not more along the lines of like, hey, we want to build the best product. I think we were just desperate to generate the most value. I think that was where it all boiled down to.
But to that point, like you've like taken on like really hard challenges and like some of our customers today, like we're handling really complex use cases for like companies that have really, really strong engineering teams. Um, I think definitely be interested in hearing more about like some of those use cases that Giga is solving, why they are so complex, and like the value that we're providing directly to these customers.
So as I was saying, like Zepto was our first early design partner, and they are based out of India, and they are basically like Instacart of India. They do 10-minute delivery for pretty much anything. The problems there were much more challenging than we actually thought before going in, because Zepto and I think like every food delivery company in the world cares a lot about like tiniest of the margins. So we had to optimize our product so well that we couldn't give even one wrong refund. There was this one guy who basically argued with our AI for I think like more than an hour to get 10 cents in refund. And the funny part is Zepto actually cares about whether we did give that 10 cents refund or not. If you think about it from a very high perspective, it's like it shouldn't matter. Like, if someone is like arguing with you for like one more than 1 hour for 10 cents, you should probably give it to them. But not just with AI, but even with humans, they actually care a lot. So that basically like pushed us to build something like which can solve some of the most complex problems. And I think like that is one of the biggest reasons why we have the best product right now in the market.
It sounds like you had a lot of like early success with chat. I'd be curious on like the voice AI front, why you think the company keeps winning and keeps finding like new success.
If you think about like product as a whole, I think everyone else in like in general AI or even in like customer support specifically are looking at this as an ROI problem. They're like, hey, there are like 100 tickets which are going to humans currently. How many can you deflect, not resolve? So that's another issue with the market. How many can we deflect so that the least amount of conversations go actually to humans? And I think like this is something we do. We approach it from a very different perspective. We don't look at it as an ROI. I mean, I personally don't when I'm building my product. Obviously, the business use case is there. I look at it as how much value can I generate to everyone who is talking to our AI. And that basically leads us to pushing our product to solve some of the most complex use cases, which are not even possible with humans currently. You won't get a better experience with humans, which was kind of surprising to me when we went live with some of these use cases. I ordered DoorDash here, and for some reason I have to go back to my office. And I go back to my office, I call the dasher and tell them that, hey, my office is on the way. Why don't you just drop the food there? And generally like dashers are nice people, and then since it's also on the way, they would most definitely do it. So they would drop it off there, and I take my order, I go back into my office, and then they are stuck outside my building. They're trying to mark the order as delivered on the app, and they cannot, because they are far from the original delivery address, which is like the studio. What do? Like they reach out to support. They're like, hey, I am stuck in this delivery. I cannot move forward to my next delivery. And then our AI right now answers this. So our AI is going to understand like what is the issue, what error messages are you seeing, and everything. And then it finally comes to the conclusion that, oh, this is actually because the customer requested an address change, which is not present. So what we do right now in production is we check the chat history between me, the customer, and the dasher, and see whether I requested an address change. Since I called the dasher, I there's nothing you can find. So this is a use case which is in production right now. We make an outbound call to the customer, who is me. So an AI agent, which is on a call with one person already, which is on a call with the dasher, is going to make another call to customer, and it's going to synchronize two different conversations at the same time. It's going to call me. It's going to say, "Hey, chef, did you request your burrito to be delivered to a different address?" Because that's what the dasher is claiming. And then I, being the customer, I can, like, I'll say, yes, yeah, I actually got it delivered to a different address. Now, this other AI agent, which is still on a call with the dasher can still talk to it about anything they want while this other conversation is happening. So that part was not possible with humans before. Previously, what did humans used to do? So they would call the customer, put the dasher on hold, and the dasher is stuck waiting on hold for like 2 to 3 minutes. And even if they have other issues, they just cannot do anything. While that is happening, the dasher will talk to the AI, and then the customer confirms the receipt of the order, and eventually, the AI is going to resolve the ticket. So this is a use case which is in production right now. And at hindsight, I think like DoorDash kind of came up to us with this use case early in our pilot stage. And I looked at this use case, and I remember being extremely excited because I was like, oh wow, this is this is something which will make my product much better. And this is something that will generate so much value for these people who are going to talk to my AI. And that's one of the differentiators, in the sense that the complexity of issues our product can solve is insane. And this is just for two parties. Imagine there were like 3 parties, 5 parties, and maybe you have to go look at the website of a company to verify whether they are real. So there are so many plethora of use cases if you enable this multi-agent architecture which is present in our platform.
I think fundamentally the reason we win across, at least in this market, SaaS markets, are primarily because of focus on product and engineering. A lot of our competitors primarily focus on like sales more than thing. We're not fundamentally salespeople. We don't want to sell a lot of stuff as well. We fundamentally want to build a great product and help customers choose to pick the great product. And I think companies like DoorDash, etc., being early customers, help you build product in a great way that can make like a lot of impact. DoorDash is one of, I think, you can easily rank it some of massive volume, hundreds of thousands of calls per day.
The diversity of people who call it.
Yep.
I think when we first went live, I remember we went live on like I think 50 calls the first time we went live. It was like very early after they gave us the policies also. And then I remember I generally don't have like great luck. So I remember looking at these calls, and then I was like, oh wow, the type of accent and different variants of English they have was like very unique. And we had to basically optimize our entire interrupts and the voice engine to handle all of these plethora of different accents throughout the country. And I don't think any other customer other than DoorDash would have given us such exposure so quickly.
I remember, sitting in our current office, bringing in real dashers
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
to test our product to see like where maybe like it needed to be tweaked a little more.
Yeah.
And like seeing like those like real reactions on like, I mean, you both can probably speak to it better than I can on like them being like, wow, this experience is so much better.
That was genuinely like amazing moment, right? Real people trying it out and saying that this is genuinely a lot better. Lot of people clearly picked AI over like waiting a lot of time over hold and everything. That was a moment where I thought that it's definitely gonna add a lot of value. Jason, why did you choose to join Giga?
It's a question I feel like I've been getting more and more on like interviews as people are like looking to join. And my candid reaction is it was just a lot of blind luck. I remember getting a cold email from Samantha
Oh yeah.
thinking it was AI that YouTube built like to like reach out to candidates, and it turned out just to be like just like a random name
Oh, yeah.
that was generated. Yeah, I was looking for a switch, and I wanted to be a part of a really early stage company. So there's definitely the blind luck component, but what kept me here and what keeps me here is the two of you. You guys have just decided to take on any and every challenge that like stands in our way. And it's like the conversations we have is this challenge big enough? And it's like, is this opportunity worth going after? Can we actually have like real impact here? And I feel like there's no ceiling on like where we think this company can go. Like the journey I like to tell people that I've been on is when I joined, we were an AI support company. We had, I think, one voice customer barely. And then we pivoted to support AI. And then now I feel like we're closer to like voice AI on like any aspect, right? Like wherever there's like voice, like we want to play there. And then, you know, even just like a week ago, we started to shift to like where can we plug and play AI because we have all these capabilities built out. And so just like watching the company just like grow and evolve into like where it's like destined to become has been like really exciting to be a part of and also just like to experience that like there are like it doesn't feel like there's any boundaries that like we're unwilling to cross.